for me, was my favorite part of the speech. For me, this was the headline. This was the lead, because, you know, it's about time, because Pakistan has been harboring terrorists and supporting the Haqqani network, and they've been receiving untold amounts of money and support. It's supposed to be coalition building to help fight and counter terrorism measures. What have we gotten for our money? What have we gotten? You know, they had Osama bin Laden living large over there. We're not honest about that, but we had to take matters into our own hands. And you know what? Americans are sick of it. Sick of their hard-earned money going over there to a country that is not being the right partner in this bargain, in this fight against terror. So they should be held accountable. You got to put the spurs in them, and that's what he did tonight. And in terms of having a, you know, a strategic plan, I mean, I trust that he's going to listen to Matheson, to Kelly. They agreed that pressuring Pakistan is the right way to do, to squeeze them to get more out of their effort, which really has been middling to none up to this point. And look what President Trump, he said he was going to do this with ISIS. We've already been able to see that he's been beating them back. So I count on him to do the same here. And it is tough. He did say, and basically do an about face about Afghanistan. But you know what? He's listening to the people in the theater. He's listening to the special operators, special forces there, the CIA agents, and they're telling him this is what needs to be done. And putting more troops there, making that commitment, that is leadership, and that is courage, and saying, you know what, I didn't have the information before, I have it now, and I'm going to follow through and do the right thing.
Excellent cowgirl reference, by the way.
Did you like that?
The Spurs? Excellent.
I caught that.
A couple of things that he's not able to spell out directly because Greg will say, I am not going to tell you exactly what we're going to do. So one of the things that we don't know, although we kind of know, is that the rules of engagement have changed.
Right.
The way that we're doing intelligence in the region is changing. The way we're sharing it is changing. And you're kind of smiling. I'm not sure why. Because
it's a smirk.
Ed was giving me the eye.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Kind of eye. So what I was going to ask you was, did President Trump just make the decision that leaving was worse than staying? And if you're going to stay, you may as well try to win it.
I think so. I mean, he's a typical neocon globalist. No, I kid. Actually, you knew this was different. How did you know this was different? One key factor. He said Pakistan, not Pakistan.
Yeah.
And when you heard that, you go, things are changing. Things are going down. The man is saying Pakistan.
Thank goodness.
And so you knew that this wasn't the news.
This was a shift.
This was a shift. And so now he's looking at like the way Pakistan is to the Taliban is the way China is to North Korea. And so he's saying, okay, this is your mess, buddy. You got to clean it up. That leads to the next part, which is the mission statement. He finally gave a mission statement that was localized and specific and practical, which is, hey, he's telling the world, we're not into, and he's also telling people like Rand Paul, and he's telling a lot of people, this isn't nation building anymore. We're just here to kill terrorists. It's like a guy who's saying, look, dude, I'm just here to paint the roof. I'm not, doing any demolition. This is I'm a union guy, can only do one thing.
I mean,
he's making it.
Shingle the roof.
Yeah, shingle the, no, sometimes you can paint the roof.
So it's like a subcontractor.
Yeah, subcontractor. We're just here to do that. And the reason why, this is important, the reason why is what we're dealing with is not, this isn't like World War II, which we finished in under 4 years. We keep talking about length with this. And it's because this isn't really a war. What it is dealing with something that will never go away, and that is radical Islam. The goal here in Afghanistan and elsewhere is to prevent terror and nuclear holocaust. You prevent terror by seeking out the terrorists, and you prevent nuclear holocaust to make sure that the dirty bombs or any nukes that Pakistan has ends up in the hands of these terrorists. So the only way you can do that is by constantly being there. I'm sorry, but you can call this a neocon fantasy, but as long as there is Islamism, we're going to have to be out there, and we're going to have to be looking for these terrorists. And it's just something that's going to be there. That's why the idea of always bringing up 16 years and 17 years, this is not the
way to measure it.
The world has changed. We aren't fighting Japan. We aren't fighting a nation state. We are fighting a loosely knit group of factions that are all over the place.
That morphs and recreates.
It keeps changing. And when you think it's going to die, it comes right back up because it's an idea.
Isn't it?